Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 7 and Text 16. Sadhu etat vyahrutam vidvan sadvetat vyahrutam vidvan na atma mayayanam harehe natma mayayanam harehe abhati apartham nirmoolam abhati apartham nirmoolam vishwamoolam na yat bahihi vishwamoolam na yat bahihi sadvetad vyahrutam vidvan natma mayayanam hare abhati apartham nirmoolam vishwamoolam na yad bahihi. As good as it should be. Etad, all these explanations, vyahrutam, thus spoken, vidvan, O learned one, na, not, atma, the self, maya, energy, ayanam, movement, harehe, of the personality of Godhead, abhati, appears, apardham, without meaning, nirmoolam, without basis, vishwamoolam, the origin is the supreme, na, not, yet, which, bahihi, outside. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O learned sage, your explanations are very good, as they should be. Disturbances to the conditioned soul have no other basis than the movement of the external energy of the Lord. Please repeat, O learned sage, your explanations are very good, as they should be. Disturbances to the conditioned soul have no other basis than the movement of the external energy of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A living entity's unlawful desire to become one with the Lord in every respect is the root cause of the entire material manifestation. For otherwise, the Lord has no need to create such a manifestation, even for his pastimes. The conditioned soul, under the spell of the external energy of the Lord, falsely suffers many unfortunate incidents in material life. The Lord is the predominator of the external energy, Maya, whereas the living entity is predominated by the same Maya under the material condition. The false attempt of the living entity to occupy the predominating post of the Lord is the cause of his material bondage, and the conditioned soul's attempt to become one with the Lord is the Lord's snare of Maya. Since the Bhaktivedanta Purporto Madhyanatimirandasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Ravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So a few months back I think I have met one owner of a spinning mill. He is the owner. Not very old, maybe just below 40, and young and energetic, and he has a very big empire. The spinning mill is one of the biggest in those areas. Thousands of employees are working, crores of turnover. Very pious person. So we went and met him, and then we had many discussions. From spirituality to religion to politics to business. It went into all these directions. And then he took us to his house also. Very palatial apartment. Particularly the interiors of the house, very nicely designed. Surprisingly, the wife doesn't believe so much in a personal God, although she is also religious. She does some rituals. And then we spoke about our upcoming project. We also did some kirtan, little bit of preaching, all those things we have done, and then he again took us to his upcoming apartment. He is a builder also. He is building the biggest in that area. So he took us there. Materially speaking, very nicely done. Costliest in that locality. And then, so altogether, almost we are with him for say about a couple of hours. We are also surprised why we are spending so much time. Anyway, we have done all that, and then we know their friends. They are in Hyderabad. So yesterday suddenly I got a message that he has passed away. probably not even 40. And then I was shocked. We never thought that he will. So I asked that person, how did it happen? He said, it was very unfortunate. I lost one friend. And then he sent me one video clip, how he passed away. Looks like he's in the spinning mill. So there are CCTV cameras in all directions. So he sent me one small clip of that recording. We can see that he and somebody else, they were talking to each other on the roadside. Road means interior roads, not the public road. In his own company, basically. Very neat, clean roads. The buildings are also very clean. He is a person having a mind of quality. And then they were talking, and then one vehicle came. And vehicle means just two-wheeler. Came, passed by. CCTV, it's recording everything. Vehicle went by, and suddenly I saw that fellow, tuck, he collapsed. There's nothing, there is no accident, nothing. He's just talking to the other person, tuck, he collapsed. Then immediately everybody rushed and then took him to the hospital, but then sadly he has already passed away. So that's why Prabhupada is saying here, under the spell of external energy, one suffers many unfortunate incidents in material life. It's a very unfortunate incident, because he's a coming up businessman, and then it looks like everything is set. Everything for a peaceful, joyful enjoyment is available. That's what it appears. And when he built everything, the empire is ready for enjoyment. Unfortunate. That's why it's called unfortunate incidents in material life. And why they happen? Because abhati apardham nirmoolam vishwamoolam nayadbahihi. Prabhupada explains in the translation that he says, all the disturbances to the conditioned soul have no other basis than the movement of the external energy. There is a movement of the external energy in this world. The energy is moving. The external energy is continuously moving, and it is bringing various disturbances into the lives of the conditioned souls. There is a movement. It's not that you have created some setup, you have created an empire, you have created an organization wherein everything will be now set and it is all stable, permanent. No. Nothing is stable in this world. Nothing is permanent. It gets reminded to us again and again when we hear all these things. Now why this is happening? Because there is a movement in this energy. External energy is continuously bringing various movements into this world. That's why the sages have called this as Bhava Sagara. They called this as the ocean of birth and death. And it is an ocean. They compare it to ocean because ocean is continuously moving. There are waves in it. And we had an experience also near the ocean. When you go, sometimes very deceptive. How the waves sometimes they catch, and then everything is looking very normal, very peaceful. Suddenly there will be an unfortunate event. In the ocean sometimes you observe this. Recently we had a folk trip and then we understood what it means. We're having a class like this and suddenly the waves are increasing. They changed the mat, again it is increased. The localites are telling Swamiji, if you are there for some more hours, it will actually, whole thing will get covered with water. So, but a common man, he doesn't know how the ocean behaves or the waves behave. So, he gets into unfortunate circumstances. Similarly, a conditioned soul has no idea what this material energy is, what this material world is. And because of that ignorance, it repeatedly gets caught up in unfortunate incidents. Unfortunate. Why? Because material energy has its own movement. There is a certain pattern in which it goes on. And most importantly, it doesn't allow anything to sustain permanently. Nothing is permanent in this. Our empires, our health, our youth. That's why the sages the poets have described the kind of situation that is there in this world. And it says, what is that song? Govinda Dasa. So Govinda Dasa, he writes like this: Edhana yavana putra parijana iteke ache parathithire kamala dalajala jivana talamala bhajahu haripada nithire. He says, what assurance of real happiness is there? These are all assurances to us. What are they? Dhana, I am very wealthy. A lot of money is there. For example, this man, then yavana, not only wealth, very young and energetic, very healthy. And then putra, people are, they become very assured, they derive their assurance of happiness. Very happy that he has a big family, they'll all take care of me, they'll protect me, they'll all take care of me. This is putra, parijana. And so many other assistants are there, family members are there, relatives are there. See, all these people are going to give me assurance for happiness. But he is saying, Kamala Dalajala. All these assurances are like tottering of a drop of water on a lotus petal. So, actually, these are the very convincing words written by these exalted devotees. Right? They describe the reality of this world in such nice, wonderful way, anybody can understand. Yes, this yavana, dana, all these things, they are no more an assurance for me. So that's why here also, Vidura is appreciating sadhu etad vyahrutam vidvan. Oh, learned sage, your explanations are very good. The sadhu means very good. Vidvan means a learned sage. Prabhupada is the modern learned sage who has presented this philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and his explanations are very good, very convincing. So here it is, your explanations are very good, as they should be. So when an acharya, a learned sage, presents the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, is very, very good. So that's why he said, Sadhu etad vyahrutam vidvan. Vidvan means is a learned. Learned means uh, he has a very deep knowledge on a subject. Sometimes we only dabble around very shallow understanding of a subject, and there is a deeper understanding of the subject. There is a difference between these two. Shallow understanding means it's like somebody goes to a social function, let's say marriage or some of these functions. They go well in advance, some 2-3 days before they reach there, and there will be some chairs. They're put one shamiyana, some chairs. They'll all be seated, and actual work is done by some organizers. The family members are taking care, ladies, and then some of the pujaris. They're all busy organizing, but meanwhile they're all free. So what they do, they sit and they discuss. They discuss on various subjects. They discuss, obviously they again discuss on politics, discuss on their own family. They discuss on big subjects, cryptocurrency and stocks and the business and everything. And their level of understanding will be mostly very shallow. They'll be throwing some words, cryptocurrency, this current. Nobody knows what actually it means. Everybody will be, he is talking about this. He knows all the latest trends. So that is one level of understanding. But one more level is that one should be a learned person. Learned doesn't mean that he only knows knowledge, but his behavior will be obnoxious. No, that is not called learned. A learned person means he should have knowledge, and also he should have good behavior. This is called learned. That's why Prabhupada says achar and then prachar. He repeatedly says. But then you may ask, should we not get to know some little things in all the subject matters? Everywhere you have to become very deeply involved and understand. It is not possible. Yes. That's why Prabhupada says, with respect to knowledge acquisition, he says, we should know something of everything and everything of something. There are 2 lines to it. He says, everything of something and something of everything. Something we should know. But everything of something, everything of Krishna consciousness we should know. We should try to learn various aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam, various aspects of the books that Srila Prabhupada has given. This everything we should try to understand. Our whole life is dedicated for this education. Whole life is dedicated for these books of Srila Prabhupada. And then in those books Prabhupada has explained everything very nicely. The kind of language that Srila Prabhupada has used is an amazing language. Actually, Sanskrit is very refined, and it allows you to express your understanding, your emotions very finely. It allows you to explain all that. But English is still a developing language, and it is not a systematically evolved language. Pick up here and there, and then that language has grown like that. It's like a departmental store. You go, you pick up one here, one there. So similarly, that language, English is like that. It's a copy paste from many sources. and then that's how the language has grown. So many times it becomes very difficult for you to express what exactly you want to communicate. English is like, it has hardly any, say, 4,000, 5,000 words, unique words. But Sanskrit is a more systematic language. It has, thousands of root words, and from which innumerable, words have come. The language is very rich with this kind of words, and then you can express nicely. Like I think in one place Prabhupada has the Sanskrit word says jalpa, prajalpa. Like that on jalpa there are 8 words. Prajalpa means we know simply gramya katha, unnecessary discussions and topics, kind of rumors. Prajalpa. And other 7, 8 items. I have no idea. In English, how to present that, there is no idea. Prabhupada writes in the purport, there is no equivalent in English language, and he concludes the purport because not easy. For example, Sanskrit distinguishes various types of teachers. Upadhyaya, Adhyapak, Acharya, Guru, then Vidwan. Like that, there are innumerable words in Sanskrit. How do you exactly one-on-one translation in English? There is any single word of English which can say all these distinctions clearly? We say teacher for everything. For everything we say, just say teacher. Adhyapak means one. Like that, there are so many meanings are there. So if you write down the meaning in English, it will not come in one word. It will be a big sentence or a paragraph. But in Sanskrit, it is one word. Very rich, very refined and very structured language. So that's why Prabhupada, when he was translating the books which are there in Sanskrit into English, he mentions that it's a challenge. It is a challenge that is, in front of him, is that he has to present all these concepts into a foreign language which has limitations. But then Prabhupada also quotes from Bhagavatam to explain that even if things are abadhavati api, improperly composed, because they are all glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the saintly persons will take these explanations in the right spirit. So Prabhupada is confident that because the essence is a glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since the essence is that, he hoped that these purports will be received well. In fact, that is so. His purports were received so well. The other day we were reading when he was still in India, and he translated first canto Bhagavatam. 3 books were released, and then he went and spoke to the American embassy, and then immediately they purchased. And then they said, Swamiji, whatever you are going to produce in the future, we are placing the order right now. We are placing an order for all your future books also. And then, they gave the order like that. So, Prabhupada's explanation about the God, the Supreme Lord, these are all very nicely explained. That's why those purports were appreciated. And you can see the result is that he transformed thousands and millions of people's hearts. Now, for example, many people, they use the word God. Some people they use the word Lord, but Prabhupada has not used that. He says the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He referred to Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now you see this, what a, how wonderfully he has composed this word. Because it's a foreign language, it doesn't have an equivalent word. In Sanskrit, it's only one word, Bhagavan. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, it says. Now this Bhagavan has no one-on-one translation in Sanskrit, in English. So that's why Prabhupada has, so to say, he coined this word. He says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which will bring that gravity of that word Bhagavan into the modern language English. It is a very important point. God is supreme, that everybody knows. God is great. Great, something very great, that is called Brahman in Sanskrit. Brahman means greatest, something very big. Sometimes they give explanation for Brahma, so they say Brahman Ussava. So that means it's a big festival, great festival. So, so similarly, supreme, that everybody knows, God is greatest, but Prabhupada is very careful. That greatest, that Brahman has a personality. He has not just left it that, okay, that's greatest. No. Greatest, it's not a greatest energy, it is a personality. Supreme Personality of Godhead is not an ordinary personality, like a human being. He may be a God. No, he is not even God. He is Godhead. Head of gods. So this is the meaning of one single word, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, this language that Srila Prabhupada has given us, that is a fantastic explanation of what is there hidden in the Sanskrit language. You don't need anybody in between to understand the purports of Prabhupada. Prabhupada has so wonderfully composed his explanations. They are so convincing that you don't need anybody in between to again explain Prabhupada books. There is no such requirement. Now that Prabhupada is not physically present, maybe his books require some additional explanations by somebody else. Not required. Prabhupada has beautifully composed his purports, which have already convinced millions and millions of people in this universe. There is no need for anybody else to come and give some other explanation to Prabhupada's purports. Not required. Then the question is, should we not use, can we also coin some kind of a little bit of a words in order to bring little more understanding? Because sometimes it may be required for a new audience or a modern audience. Prabhupada says, yes, you read my purports, you understand the principles, and you can present it in your own language. Prabhupada gave that. You can explain in your own language. So, sometimes, yes, we can say Surya of Sachidananda. We can say all, to give us an idea of what is being presented. Sometimes we say this body is like a robo. This robo is a new language. It's a word which is there in the modern world. So, yantra is the word that is used in Bhagavad Gita, but let us say some speaker uses the word, it's a robo, let us say. There is nothing wrong. You are trying to give an additional angle to the modern audience. But then, it's not that Prabhupada purports are not clear, and his language that is being used in his purports, now it has become some Chinese or Russia or something like that. So now you have to come and give some explanations to his. This is all minimization of Prabhupada's position. Prabhupada doesn't need all this. So you can see what a wonderful words that he has used. One word, unfortunate incidents in material life. So much we can discuss it. One word has so much elaboration. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati has given lectures on first verse of Bhagavatam for 3 months continuously. Just on one shloka, 3 months he has gone giving lectures. That's the volume of hidden gems that are there in Prabhupada's books in our ancient wisdom. So, in order to elaborate on some of the concepts that Prabhupada is, actually they are very self-evident, but the audience is not ready to understand. Then sometimes probably you need little more words, little more language to make it little more simpler for them to understand. That is good, that is welcome. That is never been condemned. But one should not think that now Prabhupada purports have become something like a foreign language or some Chinese or Tamil or something like that. No. They are very relevant. In fact, those words carry, Prabhupada has selected each and every word. That's what he has mentioned. So those selected, chosen words to glorify Krishna, Uttama Shloka, those words have that potency to transform the hearts, which we have seen. So that's why we should hear Prabhupada. His explanations are convincing, and then he has presented the philosophy of Krishna nicely. For the modern age, we should take advantage. Any questions? Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9133107700.